Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Lessons with Reverend Barbara. And the time is 7:14 here on the East Coast, and 7:14 here on the East Coast, and 4:14 on the West Coast. I deeply regret being late, and here I am. Okay, today's lesson is going to be blended with faith and honesty. Actually, the name of it is The Marriage Between Faith and Honesty. And is it possible to be honest in relationships? And do we have the faith to believe that no matter what, we will be able to sustain the storms which comes with the um, the principle of being honest in relationships? Okay, I'd like to begin with a meditation. Sit back and relax and just relax. The Christ of God is quickened in me. I am aware that the Christ of God is quickened in me. Realize that we are consciously aware that the Christ of God is quickened in me and in you. So say to yourself, I am aware that the Christ of God is quickened in me. I am grateful that the Christ of God is being quickened in me. Gratitude is an emotion, and the subconscious is the seat of our feelings and our emotions. The Christ in me calls forth Peter, my disciple, faculty of faith. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale, exhale. As you are meditating, visualize the master teacher speaking the words, which are, your faith, be it done unto you. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Say it with me. According to your faith, be it done unto you. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Say it two more times. According to your faith, be it done unto you. One more time. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Now whisper it to yourself. According to your faith, be it done unto you. Now, without moving your mouth, think it. And so it is. And so it is. Well, hello. Hello, everyone. Today, everyone is doing very well. I hope you're doing okay. The meditation that I read is from this book, and the name of it is 12 Spiritual Powers. 12 Spiritual Powers. Actually, the name of it is 12 Power Meditation Exercise, is what it is. And who wrote it? Charles Roth. Okay. Here we go. And away we go. Let me do this over here. Here we go. Okay. We have quite a bit of information to present, and I wanted to present it within a 45-minute frame. So since we didn't start until 7:15, and anyway, let's just move forward, okay? Cited sources. I'm going to cite the sources. And the cited sources are aa.org, t.net. The images are courtesy of Google Images. There is also a reading from Awaken Your Faith Faculty by Winifred Wilkinson Hausmann, Hausmann. All right? Okay. Faith is the spiritual gift, and honesty is the AA principle. Even if you don't believe in the spiritual gifts of faith and honesty. If you can't believe in honesty, can you believe in faith? Well, faith without works is nil and void. Faith without works is dead. Okay. The AA principle is honesty. It's Peter. The spiritual gift, as I said, is faith. The affirmation this time is faith blesses my day and paves my way. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. I'll say it again. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. Ability to believe, to be intuitive, and to perceive. The disciple Peter represents faith in things that are spiritual, faith in faith, and faith in God. And I may as well move forward and tell you that for this entire series, the word God will be used. I may use the word higher power. I may use the word source. But rest assuredly, the word God will be used. Okay. The corresponding color is blue. The location is the center of the brain. The pineal gland is the center of the brain. All of this will be explained throughout this lesson. The importance of the pineal gland. What is the pineal gland? All of this will be explained in a moment. Okay. Peter, the 12 faculties of the mind in man as symbolized by the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ in the body. How many of us today, how many of you tell the truth? How many of you would be willing to leave your business, to leave your home, and just leave with someone that you don't know simply because they said to you, follow me? Peter did just that. And Peter represents faith, because Peter had faith in the master teacher. Peter's intuition kicked in. Peter's intuition said, okay, I can trust this person. Okay, I will not go. I will not base my assumptions on how this person looks. Okay, but my intuition says, okay, follow him. The Apostle Peter may have been the most outspoken 12 apostles in Jesus's here on earth. He certainly became one of the boldest witnesses for the faith. His beginnings were certainly humble in origin. He was born about 1 BC, and he died around the time of AD 67. Okay? Peter was originally named Simon. Jesus was the one who changed Peter's name. Peter means rock, or literally Petra, Petra, Galilean fisherman, and was the brother of Andrew. The brothers came from the village of Bethsaida, Bethsaida, according to John 1st chapter 43rd verse, and John 12th chapter 21st verse. That's another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. The 12 spiritual powers and the philosophy are all Bible-based. Okay? So the word God will be used and the Bible will be utilized. So if you may find this offensive, then this series may not be for you. Peter, like all humans, made many mistakes before they followed the way. Peter, like all humans before their calling, made many mistakes. In fact, he was ashamed of the mistakes that he made, or the mistakes of missing the mark, missing many goals in the presence of Christ, according to Luke 5th chapter, verses 6 through 8. Peter was perhaps the very first disciple that the master teacher called along with his brother Andrew. What I'm going to do, since never mind, I'll continue to do what I'm doing. Okay, I will show you the slides later. I want to stay focused. It took me 15 minutes to be here, so just Peter left his career as a fisherman to follow Jesus. All right. There's a boat that I must show you. I must show you this boat. And show it to you over here. This is a replica, a picture of the boat that fishermen used back in the day. Okay? So screen share. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I know I'm having one. Today is absolutely beautiful. And when I'm done, then I can relax. I'm on screen share, work with mommy. Don't want to do it home. Fine. No problem. Anyway, when it is time, I'll show it to you. Okay. All righty. And as I said, Peter's name was originally, and the master teacher changed his name. Okay. Fishermen. Okay. I don't know if you've ever thought about what it was like to be a fisherman back in the day. Now, there is on the Discovery Channel groups of different stories about fishermen of today. Some are looking for shark meat, some are looking for shrimp, some are looking for lobster. Most are looking for crab legs. Okay, so the life of a fisherman is they're kind of gruff, they're unkept, they're vile, shabbily dressed, and often use a lot of vulgar language. The fishermen of the first century were what's called a man's man. And they were full of vigor and they were very, very boisterous. Now, James, first chapter, 17th verse, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights. God's greatest gift to man is the power of thought through which he can incorporate into his consciousness God. All right, 14th chapter, John 14th chapter, 12th verse. The version, I'm using a couple of versions. The first one is the Amplified Bible. The Amplified Bible. I want to show the pictures. Period. Where are they? Okay, the PowerPoint. Come on. Be nice. Here we are. Praise the Lord. Oh, you have no idea. So why don't we go back to the beginning? All right. Faith and honesty. All right. The spiritual gift is faith, and the principle, AA principle, is honesty. Moving right along. I have the right one. Okay. And then we have the disciple is Peter. Spiritual gift is faith. Affirmation, as I said, faith blesses my way. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. I'm going to leave everything on the PowerPoint. I will read directly from the PowerPoint. I will not go back and forth. Faith is the ability to believe, intuit, and perceive. The disciple Peter represents faith in things that are spiritual, faith in God. The corresponding color is blue, and the location is the center of the brain. This is an example of what the boats the fishermen used way back in 1 BC, okay? The fishing technique of this period required that fishermen frequently dive into the water. Fishermen often work without clothing. Please see John 21st chapter, 7th verse. Here is a net. The best type, this type of small sailboat was very common in the first century Galilee. It was likely the same kind that Jesus first met the disciples, and the kind that Jesus's first disciples used. Here is the net. The phrase, cast your net upon the waters. Here is a net. The cast net opens as it is thrown and hits the water most flatly. The weights on the perimeter of the net, the weights on the perimeter, the weights on the perimeter of the net pulls the edges down around the fish. Here is the boat. Here's the stern. Okay? And one of these men represent, let's just say this one represents Peter. I wasn't there, so I don't know. John 14:12, Amplified. 12, I assure you and most solemnly say to you, anyone who believes in me as Savior, I will also do the things that I do, and he will do even greater things than these in extent and outreach, because I am going to the Father. Interlinear Scripture Analyzer, John 14:12. Verily, verily, I am saying to you, he who is believing in me, the works which I am doing, he also will be doing, and greater than these will he be doing, for I am going to the Father. Okay, so Jesus was telling his disciples and those that will listen that what he does through the Father, and he is the example. So what he expected was for the disciples, those which the disciples taught, the students of the disciples, up to this very day, to do an improved version of what the master teacher Jesus did. He was the example. He was a teacher. He was a rabbi. Okay? He was the master teacher. So him being Jewish taught the Jewish disciples many, many lessons. The most important one was love. That was the most important one. Moving right along. Interlinear Scripture Analyzer. I think I just read this, but let me humor me. Verily, verily, I am saying to you. He says, I am saying to you, he who is believing in me, the works which I do, the works which I am doing, he also will be doing, and greater than these will he be doing, for I am going to the Father. Okay. Faith. The pineal gland. The pineal gland is the seat of the soul. What is the pineal gland? All right, let me see. Okay, so let me go back, and you may end up reading this with me. All right, the pineal gland. The famous philosopher Descartes described the pineal gland as the principal seat of the soul. You've probably heard of this gland being the third eye, a mystical chakra point residing right in the middle of your eyebrows. It turns out these ideas aren't too far off. The small rice-sized pine cone-shaped endocrine organ known as the pineal gland sits alone in the middle of the brain at the same level as the eyes. Okay? Now we're going to go back over here. It is the seat of the soul. How it works? It works with honesty. From the Alcoholic Anonymous book, page 10, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. Those there are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. We all have the capacity to be honest. It's all about willingness. In essence, it's all about being willing to be honest. The pineal gland. Every human being's pineal gland or the third eye can be activated to spiritual world frequencies and enables you to have the sense of all knowing and oneness all around you. A pineal gland, once tuned into proper frequencies with the help of meditation, yoga, or various esoteric methods, enables a person to travel into other dimensions, popularly known as astral travel or astral projection or remote viewing. This here is the pineal gland. Going this way, let me go straight. Going this way, we end up with the outside known as the forehead. And in the forehead, you have a set of eyes. And in between those set of eyes is a space. And that set of eyes is known as the pineal gland. Okay? We're not done yet with the questions. We're not done yet with the questions. By any stretch of the imagination, are we done yet with questions? Where are we? It works. I've already read how it works. Okay? This how it works. It's read in every AA room always. It is to be ever reminded of structure. Okay, newly recovering individuals need structure. Actually, we all could use structure in our lives. Okay, we don't mean rigid structure. We're certainly talking about structure that will allow for harmony in our life. Okay, ways to activate the pineal gland. Sleep in complete darkness. A dark environment ensures your pineal gland produces enough melatonin to ensure good, restful sleep. Melatonin is a chemical in the brain. The brain makes 5 or 6 chemicals. Melatonin is one of them. Make sure you avoid backlit devices like phones, tablets, computer monitors, or TV right before bed. The lighting of these devices stimulates serotonin, which is another chemical in the brain. Serotonin productions, tricking your pineal gland into thinking that it is daytime, confusing your wake-up cycle. Meditation. This is another way to work with the pineal gland. The pineal gland responds to the bioelectric signals of light and dark, and meditation activates this bioelectric energy. With practice, you can learn to direct this energy to this highly sensitive organ. Faith. What is faith? Going back over here. Oops. Okay, so we're on our own with faith. Okay. Faith is, now faith, the perceiving power of the mind linked with power to shape substance. Okay? So if you think about something that you want, like you want a bank account that is not in the red, well, first of all, you have to visualize it. Second of all, what you want to do is to make sure that you have your bank account in the position where you're not overtaxing yourself. Okay, you're not overtaxing yourself. Okay, what you want to do is to have a balance in your checkbook. So yes, you can imagine and create and visualize all you want about having a positive amount of money in the bank. But if you're not spending wisely and you're not having if you're not managing your finances, then you can create and visualize all you want. But if you're not, faith without works is dead. In other words, so you want to have a bank account that's positive, okay? So the work is to manage your money, all right? It is the power to do seemingly impossible. It is magnetic power that draws us into our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance. Faith is a deep inner knowing that which is sought is already ours for the taking. Next, faith is assurance of things hoped for, according to Hebrew 11:1. A close analysis shows that faith is the foundation of all that man does. Jesus spoke of a new condition for the upliftment of the human race. He called it the kingdom of the heavens. He said it must be built upon a foundation typified by Peter the rock, who represents faith. This is the proof that faith is closely related to the enduring, firm, unyielding form of substance. The development of the faith faculty is a key to the spiritual realization. According to your faith, be it done unto you. This is Matthew 9th chapter 29th verse. Faith in God is the substance of existence. Let me say that again. Faith in God is the substance of existence. To have faith in God is to have faith of God. We must have faith in God as our We must have faith in God as our, why would you wait until I'm here to do this? We must have faith in God as our Father and source of all the good we desire. Faith is more than mere belief. It is the very substance of that which is believed. It works by love. Thoughts of condemnation, enmity, and resistance must be released and divine love declared. Then faith will work unhindered. Faith working in spiritual substance accomplishes all things. This is the faith that cooperates with creative law. When faith is exercised deep in spiritual consciousness, it finds its abode or its home, and under divine law, without variation or disappointment, it brings results that are seemingly miraculous. Blind faith, an instinctive trust in a power higher than ourselves, because blind faith does not understand the principles of being. It is liable to discouragement and disappointment. Faith, the center of the pineal gland, located in the middle of the brain, is the center of the brain, is the center of the body of man. Concentration of thought is the center. On this center opens the mind of man to spiritual faith. Faith compared with trust. Trust is a weaker brand of faith, but better than mistrust. As a rule, persons who merely trust the Lord do not understand divine law. Okay. If they had understanding, they would affirm the presence and power of God until the very substance of the Spirit would appear in manifestation. Faith as a cure, another name for spiritual healing. Faith, how cultivated by studying the experiences of Peter, the apostle representing faith, we obtain suggestions on the development of this faculty. The vacillating allegiance of Peter to Jesus illustrates the growth of faith in one who has not developed this faculty. Faith is built up through denial of all doubt and fear and continuous affirmations of loyalty to the divine idea, the higher self. One must have faith in one's spiritual capacity and depend on it in the face of adverse appearances. Faith in one's self. The ground for man's faith in himself is the truth that he is a son of God, and as much as he inherits the divine nature, man should have faith in himself because he cannot be successful in any line without such faith. Do you have faith in yourself? Is it a watered down faith, or is it a faith of the rock of Peter? Okay, if you have watered down faith, then you're going to have watered down manifestations or watered down results. If you have faith such as Peter, then you will have rock solid, absolute results, because by your faith you will see the fruits of your labor. By your faith. Faith without works is dead. Intellectual faith, the faith that has its seat of action in the intellect only. Intellectual man has faith in his art, in his science, or in his philosophy, which answers his purpose for the time being. Faith of Jesus, the anointed one, the master teacher. Jesus did not claim an exclusive supernatural power, which we usually accredit to him. He had explored the ether. The ether is upper air. Ether is a substance believed to occupy space beyond the sphere of the moon, or energy, which he, meaning Jesus, called the kingdom of the heavens. His understanding was beyond that of the average man. Jesus's understanding was beyond that of the average man. However, he knew and said that other men could do what he did if they would only have faith. He encouraged his followers to take him as a pattern or an example for faith, and to use the power of thought and word. Divine healing is due to the application of the same law that Jesus used. In most instances, he demanded faith on the part of those he healed, and with this faith as a point of mental and spiritual contact, he released the latent or underlying energy in the atomic. And when I say atomic, I mean we have in our bodies atoms. So Jesus had the ability to release atoms and the atomic structure of the ones in need of healing. So because we have atoms in our body, Jesus had a way to release the atoms in our body. Those individuals to this very day, when they say they're laying hands on someone, if they have the gift, hold on a minute, drinking water. If they truly have the gift to transport their energy into the person's body to activate and stimulate the atoms in the body, then that in and of itself is what's needed to heal and to be restored to life and health. He that believeth on me, the works that I do, he also shall do, and greater works than these shall he do. That is John 14:12. Almost done, because I have a small video for you. The faith of prayer, the act of mentally taking that which is desired. So when we pray of faith, we are engaging in an act of mentally taking that which is desired. Read Mark 11, chapter 24th verse. Thinking faith. The most important power of man is the original faith thinking faculty. All of us have the thinking faculty located in the head, from which we send forth good, bad, and indifferent thoughts. The thinking faculty is supplied with the secondhand ideas of our ancestors. Faith thinking is done only by one who has caught sight of the truth of being and who feeds his thinking faculty on images generated by the faith center. Faith thinking is not merely an intellectual process based on reasoning. The faith thinker does not compare, analyze, or draw conclusions. He does not take appearances into considerations. Faith thinking gives form to the ideas that come straight from the eternal foundation of wisdom. Faithless generation. A generation that lacks the spiritual faith and power to do the works Jesus would have it do, such as healing the sick, anger thoughts, mental thoughts, addiction, brutality, and making the blind to see. See, there is an alternative to violence, which is peace and communication. Anger is the alternative. The alternative is understanding. Infidelity, the alternative to being infidelity is open and honest communication. Faith is the alternative of fear. When I apply faith, I know all is already worked out for my greater good. Q&A. Questions and answers. Answers and questions. Questions and answers. Are they at all? Do you have any? Well, do you? What do you have to say about faith? What do you have to say about Peter? What do you have to say about the picture of Peter? Isn't that beautiful? I liked it. Any questions at all before we move on to the next section? No? Okay. Moving right along. Moving right along. Okay. Call to action. For some, practicing new behaviors such as honesty can be a bit uncomfortable, but just like marriage, there is an element of adjustment. Think of at least one instance when you applied faith to decrease your fears. What actions did you take to decrease your fear, such as meditation, taking a walk, talking to a trustworthy friend? This here, what you're looking at, is phrenology. Comes under the category of phrenology. I don't even know if it makes sense to you, but let me try to explain it. The brain the brain is divided up in certain sections, and there are sections of the brain that are in charge of the body and the movements. When we think, being reflective, human nature, being comparative, wanting to know the reasons for something, that section is here in reflective. Perception, when we are, again, the name of the science is nephrology, NEPHROLOGY. So when you are engaging in perception, what time is it? What tune do you hear? What is this? Calculations, order, color, integrity, size. Okay, and then here's the third eye, and the third eye reads individuality. Right here, that section is the third eye. Okay, so you can find this. You can find this on Google. You go into Google Images, and then you pull up nephrology. As I said, it's NEPHROLOGY. Are there any questions? Now, those of you that care to, this is a 5-minute exercise on opening the third eye. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched it last night. When I watched it, after it was all said and done, about a good 5 minutes later, I had what was, and I never have headaches, but I had a very mild headache. So those of you that want to watch it, okay. And those of you that don't care to watch it, it's fine. Okay. I'm going to watch it again. And then after this slide, that's it. Oh yeah, I'm up here, I'm sorry. Oops. Oops. All righty. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? None? None at all? Okay. I have one thing I want to say. Yesterday, and so I thought to myself that I wasn't really going to say anything. I was just going to like keep it to myself. But I have to bounce it off somewhere. So I'm just going to get it off my chest and get it over with. Thursday, I was really someplace I really wasn't supposed to be. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today's Saturday, so I've had 2 days to really think about it. So in retrospect, I was someplace I really had no business being. Even though, I am a strong advocate. We know, those of you who have heard me speak more than once, you know that I am a staunch advocate for individuals being into their own spiritual practice. There are many roads to the one. It's all about peace, love, harmony, nirvana, paradise, bliss, or whatever it is you can think of that will be remotely close to what you consider God to be, or the beauty way, or higher power. So, in a sense, I really can empathize. I empathize with the master teacher. What am I talking about? Those of you that teach or have a ministry or whatever, we read in the book all the time about what the master teacher went through. He was trying to give messages. He was trying to feed the hungry with hope. He was trying to give the poor in spirit hope. Those that were blind and couldn't see the truth, he wiped the trouble from their eyes and they were able to see truth. They were able to see the truth. So the other day, I really was someplace I had no business being. Where I was, and I'm just going to come right out and say it, I was in what's known as a Bible study. And in my thinking, Bible study is a Bible study. That we're all talking about the same. I realize many roads lead to the one. I realize this. I realize that, we all have our own spiritual practice. This I know for sure. But what I didn't understand was, what is the significance of me having to believe what someone else believes? I mean, if you ever heard me speak, I'll tell you in a heartbeat, it doesn't matter what you believe. It really doesn't. You end up feeling connected to either yourself or some level of a higher power. So, not some level, but what it is that apply to you. I'm sitting there and I heard words back and forth. So I heard this one person say, there was one person, you see, I'm trying to tell the story without making it real clear because I don't know who's going to end up watching this. So I'm just going to say it like this. I'm not going to stop going. On one hand, I say to myself, that I was going to stop going to this particular Bible study because it's not New Thought and it's not metaphysics. On the other hand, the master teacher went in places where no one knew of hope and what have you. Okay, so I can relate on an experiential level what it's like to be misunderstood, talked about, and not really trying to get to understand. Now, unless I misunderstood the story of the master teacher, he was crucified in essence because a lot of individuals really did not understand him. And so when he was asked questions, and he would answer the questions, but nobody really understood the answers. So the leaders of that particular group thought, well, he's being blasphemous. So to parallel that, I'm sitting in a room of individuals, all don't feel this way, but some. I'm sitting in a room and there are individuals that outright said, there was one person I actually heard her say that I'm a charlatan. Now, I want you to know that I heard you when you said it, but I thought about Jesus. And I thought about him carrying his cross, and I thought about Pontius Pilate, and I thought about everything that he went through. And I thought about when I was a student in Miami at a church that I was attending, and I never forget one of my spiritual teachers, Reverend Mary Tompkins, said, "I don't know why anybody would want to be a reverend, because of, I guess, individuals that don't want to hear the truth or whatever." So I can relate to the master teacher's experience. Now, if you are a truth student, and if you are in recovery, and if you, for whatever reason, venture out and go visit other spiritual practices, everybody is not going to be as open and receptive. Just because my consciousness is open and receptive does not mean someone else's is. Everybody hasn't walked, and you should be grateful. Everyone hasn't walked and been through what I've gone through. So my mind is very much open to where I literally assumed that I could walk into fundamental Bible study and just be open to learning. You know, I mean, we can learn anything from anyone. Just be open to hearing. I wasn't there to teach, just to learn, just to hear, socialize. Before it was all said and done, when that one hauled off and said charlatan, it was everything I could do. The only thing, two things came to mind. One was Reverend Mary, and two was Jesus the Christ. I sat there as if I didn't hear it. So if by chance this person ever gets wind of this video, I just want you to know that I practice the principles of principles of AA, and I also practice the principles of the 12 powers. And it's not a cult. It is something, it is a philosophy. Just like the philosophy that you were presenting on Thursday is a philosophy. Many philosophies. And when the master teacher went to the leaders of his community with his philosophy, and ended up being crucified. Fact about it, I read someplace where Peter was crucified upside down. So if the master teacher, who was being nothing but nice and had nothing but love in his heart, was crucified, then who do I think I am that I cannot walk into another philosophy and be called just about everything but a child of God? With me is sense enough to not go back. You see, I'm going back, but I have my reasons for going back. I have my reasons for going back. I've heard horror stories about individuals that are in New Thought and they go visit other belief systems, other philosophy churches, just about to get run out of there. Well, I stand as 10,000. And I'm not a charlatan. I'm nothing to be afraid of. I'm a very normal, basic person. And all I want to do is to help the masses, those that are in recovery from, because we're all recovering from something. So those that are recovered, what did help me out when I heard you say it was, I am powerless over you, but my life will not be unmanageable. So that's the message that I give to some of you that are going through something, and you have individuals that are picking and probing and whatever. Understand that we are powerless over people, places, and things. And for whatever reason, when individuals see a miracle, they don't believe it. They don't believe such a thing exists. They claim that they have faith in the master teacher, claim that he worked miracles. But then when they see a walking, talking miracle, then they don't know what to do with that problem. Because you don't know what to do with the miracle. Not you, but to whom it may concern, that one that said it. It's not my fault. All I know is that it's unfortunate that you supposedly represent a group of individuals, and they look up to you, and you're supposed to be teaching and being an example. I was floored when I heard you say that. Oh, I was floored. And so I journaled about it, and I promised myself that I wasn't going to say anything, but you know me, I can't hold water. My family knows I can't hold water. You tell me something, and it's going to come out. It's a character defect. So to the lady, I know how Jesus felt. And to those of you, reverends and what are teachers and what have you that are in New Thought, I had no idea people think of us this way. I thought that we're presenting truth and we would be welcomed. Well, it's like this. If the master teacher who presented truth, if he wasn't welcome, now I got the picture up. All right. So we can be strung up here. Okay. He was strung up physically, but then he came back. And he came back stronger than ever. So I don't know. You do with that whatever you wish. Now I feel so much better. And tomorrow I'm going where I belong, where I feel belonged, where I will be nurtured and embraced and loved, where there are other truth students that are there. Okay? And if I go back to this Bible study, it'll only be because of ego. Because on the one hand, going back for me would be, well, nobody's going to make me not go anywhere. Nobody's going to push me out of anywhere. Nobody's going to shoo me out of anywhere. If I leave, it's because, I mean, it's a mutual win-win situation. I'm learning to really understand what the master teacher did go through when he was presenting a message. I have no problem with just sitting there and listening, really. But when girlfriend hauled off and said that, I didn't say anything. But I want you to know. I want you to know, the one that said it, I want you to know that I heard you. Okay? And just because I did not react does not mean that I didn't hear you. It means that I am demonstrating love and peace. Okay? Get it clear. Just because someone says something around me that's negative doesn't mean that I didn't hear you. It only means that somebody's got to set an example between the two of us. So it may as well be me. Because it's obvious you didn't know how to set an example. Well, you are setting an example. You are setting an example. It's not a positive one, but you are setting one. All right. I guess I'm done ripping a new butthole to that person. And having all of that said, well, before I sign off, let me let you know when the next, it'll be 2 weeks from today. Come on, calendar. Anyway, it'll be 2 weeks from today. Here we go. Today's the 24th, and it will be on the 8th. The 8th of October is when I will come back and present the Witch's Strength. Okay? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the very presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. This is so, and so it is. It could be wherever we are conscious-wise, or it could be spiritual, or it could be physical. But wherever we are, God is there with you. And this is so, and so it is. See you October the 8th, now and always. Bye.